much as anything for tomorrow and try to survive and win a game.
Yeah, I think it's important that we rebuild a connection, we rebuild an identity, and we put ourselves in position, to be connected heading into game 4.
What are you doing to try to reinstill the belief that you guys can come back in a situation that nobody's ever come back?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to just build perspective and understanding and awareness, right? And at the same time, last night got away from us, but we have had moments in this series where we played well, and so we just have to do our best to understand what it looks like when we play our best and how we can stay that for long periods of game 4, and just really be narrow-minded and worried about one game at a time.
Joe, it's never been done in the NBA, but it has been done in other sports. David Ortiz talked this morning at a golf tournament about what his advice would be. Will you remind guys of what happened in 2004? I mean, you grew up in this area. Will you bring up any instances from the past?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to kind of build that perspective and have that understanding, and I think that helps us keep a narrow-minded focus that something like that has been done before, and especially being in the city, it gives us an opportunity to kind of spearhead that identity and that opportunity that we have, and at the end of the day, that's how we have to look at it. We have an opportunity. We got to take it one game at a time.
How confident are you in your group? With there's a lot of pride, obviously, in that locker room. How confident are you that these guys will step up?
I'm the utmost confident that we'll compete, that we'll play together, that we'll be connected.
Joe, you talked about worrying about one game. Easier said than done, right? How do you get those guys to focus on just tomorrow night?
I mean, I think that's the opportunity that we have. We have to do that. We can't get caught up in worrying about the task at hand, and if we don't take care of one game, then the other games don't matter. And so we just have to have a narrow-minded focus on that.
Will you reach out to any of those guys from that 2014, David or anybody else?
I haven't yet. It's more about just spending time with our team, just building that connection, building an identity, making sure we're ready to go.
Joe, they're challenging your pride. Their players are trying to humiliate you guys. Is it about personal pride? You can't teach your guys to have personal pride out there. What do they have to do to say they're not no more of this? Because Miami is literally trying to embarrass you guys.
Yeah, it's a sense of understanding that it's pride for everybody. It's a team pride. It's a locker room pride. It's a pride that we've had throughout the year and we have to maintain. So yes, there is at a personal level, but we're in this together and we have to have that pride together.
Do you look at it just one game at a time? And I mean, you played in the NCAA tournament. A lot of guys did. Do you look at it with that mentality?
Literally one game at a time. Literally, yes.
When you see the team taking shots kind of early in possessions, what do you do to try to get them to find some patience and pass up the first good look to try to find a better look?
I don't understand why we would pass up the first good look to try and get a better look if that first look is a good look.
Maybe semi-good look could be. There are a few kind of half-contested threes where I feel like you guys drove past it. Maybe could have created a wide-open three.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument to fight for the best shot at the same time as the shot clock goes down, defenses get better. And so we've been at our best. We've been at our best this year when we've, created 2-on-1s, created advantages, created early shot opportunities that help us maintain our pace, and gives us that early offense identity, which I think we're at our best.
Joe, last night a lot of the conversations in the huddle looked like it was Al, looked like players talking amongst themselves. A lot of the team right now is staying together and being on the same page. Just what are these guys talking through as players right now? Because you do put a lot on the players for the leadership, it seems like.
I mean, just staying together, having an ownership, building an understanding of when you're in a situation like this, it's easy to worry about 10 or 15 different things, and at the end of the day, we have to simplify it to the most important thing, which is stay together, be connected, and we have to work to be the more physical team throughout the game.
And simplifying it, like you say, what are the key points going into the next game that, among all the different things we talk about here?
I think the physicality and the effort at which we play with.
Joe, to Jared's point, there are times where Miami's just playing very aggressively defensively. But there are times where maybe what would be a good look might be better served with a fake, with something to create more of an advantage, something where guys say, this is a good look, we have to shoot it. But if you probe a little bit more, the better look, the better rotate, making them rotate can get you something better.
I mean, is there a guarantee that it gets you something better?
Well, if they're being aggressive.
And I'm just asking,
No,
that's the
I'm
question
saying.
that you say is when we've been really good at creating those 5-on-4, 4-on-3s where we've gotten really good looks, and when those go in is when we're dynamic as an offense, and that's really where we've made our runs, throughout the season and in the postseason as we go on those end of quarter, those middle of the quarter runs because of our ability to create those advantages and make those shots early. And so I think that's a huge part of our offense and identity. But yes, there are certain times throughout the game where you have to execute in the half court. But you have to make those shots as well.
I guess what I'm saying, when you study martial arts, when they say use your opponent's momentum against that person, when
Yeah.
they're being overly aggressive, you can use that against that person, against that team to open up the other opportunities, those types of plays.
Yeah, I think there's times in the game where you have to be able to do that, yes. Yeah.
We were talking a lot about offense, but last night you said you feel like you guys need to get back to your defensive identity. Is that what you saw in film, and what needs to happen on that?
Yeah, I just think when we're at our best, we're getting stops first, and then, our offense is easier to flow, and it kind of goes back to the point of, like, when we do get stops, our early offense opportunities are easier, right? And then when we get in the half court, it feels more comfortable to execute because we're getting those early offense, easy looks, because of our defense.
Joe, they're shooting 50% from three in the series. It seems like your defense is saying, like, damn, we're trying here, and they're hitting everything. How do you curtail that discouragement? Because it seemed last night you guys got discouraged early.
Yeah, I mean, you got to fight to have an understanding of, like, these are the ones that we're living with. We can't allow that to affect our mindset and our awareness, and these are the ones that we have to take away. And I think that's the ultimate test. We said, like, coming into this series, it's a test of discipline, it's a test of mentality, and all of their guys are making shots right now, and so we just have to be clearly defined of what we're living with and which ones we take away.
Well, you have to remind the guys how to block out the noise. It's so much harder nowadays with social media and everything else. But there have been much criticism from some Hall of Fame greats, including Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley. How do you tell guys to tune that all out?
I mean, I think it's just focusing on our locker room, and I think that's the job of, the coach and the coaching staff, is to make sure we're all focused on one thing. And right now, that's Game 4, and how do we build the connectivity, the identity, the physicality to get ready for it.
How difficult is that on your part in the coaching staff to keep these guys up despite the hole that they're in?
Yeah, I mean, we're all in it together. So I think that's the number one thing you have to realize is we're in it together.
Final couple questions for Joe.
How much faith do you have in you guys to win tomorrow night?
Faith is the most important thing in the world.
Joe, are you questioning whether you guys are all together? Like, you want to say that and you want to believe that, but last night you guys didn't look like a team that was together. Is that something that you're going to have to reassess?
I mean, I don't know if we're questioning that. Is obviously we were disconnected. That game forced us to be disconnected for that game. But on the whole, just a week ago, we were one of the most together teams. And so it is easy to lose that, and you just have to work to get that back as fast as you can.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.